Good evening. Another exciting topic and another thing to actually really share. I'm really excited to share this because, you know, as men, we usually take the back seat when we talk about hormones and we talk about how your body is functioning. Because when we think about hormones, one of the things we always think about is we think about women. Women, estrogen, progesterone. It's a huge, huge issue with women's health. And so when everybody mentions hormones, they talk about those types of things with women. And when it comes to men, it's really kind of hush-hush in a lot of things. Men are sometimes even embarrassed to talk about that issue that they might have. So I'm excited to talk about tonight. Again, I'm Dr. John Thomas from Vibrant Life Health Center. And as always, as we're doing these videos and doing the things that are live, if you have questions, if you have anything that you want to know more about, always put a comment below. And we will definitely address anything that you need to have more information on, and we'll connect you with answers and help you to get to a point where you can get to more vibrant health, because that is the goal and the mission of what we're doing in our office, and by putting on these points of education so we can help you understand conditions, understand possible solutions, and ways that you can really address some of the challenges that you might have in your health. So tonight again we're talking about hormones, weight loss, libido, and it all regards men's health and what's going on with men. And the reason that we're doing this today, it's kind of exciting. June is a men's health month. It's a focus on the health of men. And we really got to, men, we got to step up to the plate here. Because in a lot of cases, we put our health on the back burner. We do so many things as a provider for our homes. We do so many different things for the things we have to do for our wives, for our children, to make sure that the associations and the activities extracurricular that we involve, whether we're in church groups, whether we're in other associations and fraternities, there's a lot of things that we get involved in, and it really effectively takes us our schedule and kind of puts our health on the back burner. And we've got to come around and make sure that we are thriving as well, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to get into our later years, whether you consider that 50s, 70s, 80s, whatever you consider your later years, you don't want to get there and realize that the tank is empty. And we want to make sure that we do things to make sure that you're not that scenario. You're not in that component, and you're not going to be heading in that direction with your health. And so tonight we'll be talking about weight loss, testosterone, libido, and men's hormones. And so we talk about that, again, when everybody thinks about when you say hormones. If you said, hey, you got any hormone issues? The minute you're going to be saying that, you're going to think if you have a significant other, a wife, a girlfriend, no, her hormones are good. Or you might say, hey, her hormones are nuts. But a lot of times we got to look at ourselves too. We got to take care of what we're doing inside, because men suffer from hormonal issues. Typically, when we talk about men's hormones, we're talking about testosterone. That's the big hormone that really, in men's bodies, we really focus on. Low T is a big term that we use for health challenges that we have today. But there's another one that also plays a role too. And I want to touch base on this at the beginning of this. Cortisol is another hormone that truly affects men's health. And we play a great victim to this as well. Because what happens is, we have a scenario where we are overstressed, or we have adrenal fatigue, and our system really is an overproduction of cortisol, and it really affects a lot of the systems that we have in the body that ultimately help control even testosterone and the balance of our hormones. So cortisol, when it's vibrant in your body, when it's when it's so overtaken in the body, it really creates some imbalance and some health challenges with weight loss, with libido, and with testosterone levels as well. So it can really affect the whole scope of what we're looking at here, and we want to make sure that we are maintaining an understanding of that. Now, I'm just addressing this because we did a complete video on adrenals and on cortisone. And if you want to know more about that, go catch that video. It was fantastic information, and it really leads to some great solutions in that scenario. But as I think Caroline is watching, we may do another video just on that component, how cortisol affects men, and maybe we'll do that this month yet. So that's an option for us. When we take a look at testosterone, though, we have to take a look at some of the big things. So one of the things that I really like to cover when I do these videos is to make you understand, or help you to understand, what does this do? Because what we have to do is we have to make sure that you understand the components and what they do in the body and how they affect the body. That's the first step. So when we talk about testosterone, for example, it has a major role in the body. Number one, it has a major role to play in male sexual function. And that is not necessarily just some of the physical attributes of that type of scenario, but also the mood, the desire, those types of things are all affected by testosterone. So it has a big picture to play when it comes to that scenario in a man's life. It maintains a youthful neurological state. Yes, it affects your nervous system. Isn't that something else? So when we talk about that, what do we talk about the nervous system? Well, when the nervous system, if you understand it, it runs everything in the body. It is the communicating component from your brain to your body. Every single cell, every single tissue, every single system in your body operates because it has a nervous system input and output. And so testosterone has an effect on maintaining a youthful state. So when we get into a low testosterone state, what is our neurological state? Well, it's not youthful. It'd be the opposite. And so we're not optimized. We're not maximized. We don't have a great neurological state, which can lead to a lot of different problems like muscle tissue issues and basically just awareness issues, hormone issues, organ structure, the systems of the body that we actually talked about in another series, all get affected by this. So a major component there. It alleviates depression. Isn't that amazing? So when we talk about that, if we have somebody who is really depressed a lot all the time, it might be a good time to take a look at the testosterone levels and see what is affecting that and how it's playing out in the whole role of how the body's functioning. So that's another thing. It is key in fat loss, which is another thing we are especially focused on in the office for a lot of our patients, is fat loss, is getting your body into a state of fat loss and keeping you in a healthy state of being able to manage fat burn, fat storage, and optimizing a healthy weight. And testosterone for men is key in this scenario as well. It maintains a healthy balance in core body systems. We did a series on the core body systems we actually did 3 different videos, I believe, on that. And we talked about the body systems and how they play out. And when we talk about that, you have to have a balance. When one of these goes down, a lot of the other ones go down as well. So when we talk about those things, it's very important to understand that this can play a role in imbalance, in creating imbalance in your core body systems, which is not an ideal situation. It helps to create better energy for the body as well. So that's another great thing that it does. And it also buffers the body's cortisol response. So when we think about that, we're buffering the cortisol response, the stress response, which is a very negative thing in a lot of ways in the body, and we're helping to buffer that with testosterone. So if testosterone is low, you will have a problem and an issue with doing that. So you need to understand that component. Well, what happens if you have low testosterone? What could be the components, or what could be the problems that you could be seeing? How do I realize that maybe I do have this problem? I know you just mentioned obesity might be an issue, depression might be an issue, but what really is there? Well, when we talk about that, low testosterone has been tied and associated to these issues, and this is not fun stuff. Metabolic syndrome, one major issue that is not a good thing to deal with. It's a major issue across the systems, and it takes a very specific approach to really address that condition. Type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, one of the #1 killers in the U.S., and low T is associated with that. An increase in cholesterol in your body, and we know that that is not a good thing at all. So we want to make sure that we address that condition as well. Insulin sensitivity, atherosclerosis, and then the other thing that really was amazing for me when I was reviewing for this video is that a couple of the research studies that I read really showed that it's an association where there's a 50% increase in mortality with low testosterone. That's not a good thing. Men, if you are out there, it is time to get this checked and figured out, because this is something that it can reduce your mortality by 50%. That's not a good thing at all. That really awakened my awareness to, why we need to do this video and why we should do some more information on this, because, man, we need to step up and make sure that we are 100% for our families and for our jobs and for our purpose to do the things that we are supposed to do. And this is a major one that we can take on. So understanding what the conditions are, understanding how testosterone plays a role in your body, Dr. John, what can we do to help this? What are the steps that we can really do? Well, I'm going to cover a couple things here that are really good. So if you are wanting to take notes, grab the pad now, because I'm going to go through some pretty cool stuff. So here you go. Number one, we have to understand that liver function is key when it comes to balancing testosterone. Again, I'm coming back to the liver because it's such a critical organ in the body. Most people don't realize that when it comes to testosterone in the body, liver removes excess estrogen, which is going to actually buffer out testosterone. So if you have excess estrogen in your body, the liver will actually remove it. It balances hormone binding globulins, which is something that can affect testosterone levels as well. And so when it balances these out, if they come out and they go into a low thing, then you might not be able to bind enough testosterone to get it to work in the body. And that has to do with bound testosterone versus unbound testosterone, which is something we'll cover in another video coming soon. So the liver plays a major role, and liver health is also a major player. Liver detoxification, all kinds of different steps that we can take to help with that. Proper weight management, another big key here, because here's how that plays out when it comes to hormone balance in the body. Because typically when you have weight issues, you have hyperinsulinemia, which means that your body is very sensitive to insulin. And when that happens, it reduces the luteinizing hormone in your body. Well, that in trade reduces the testosterone levels in your body, because LH, which is a luteinizing hormone, has a big role to play in producing and balancing out the different hormone or testosterone levels. So that's another big thing. Exercise is another big thing you can do to help. Exercise, when you're doing exercise in the body, whenever you move, the whole body wakes up. The systems wake up. It lights up. And so you have a lot of great things happening. Blood flow gets going. Hormones get produced. All kinds of things. Oxygen gets into the body. There's so many different things that happen when you exercise. It's so good for you. And it's something that you should always maintain in your state. Now, I'm not saying you have to go into the gym and spend an hour to an hour and a half in the gym every day. Not at all. But I'm saying get up and move. For some people, a 2-block walk would be something magnificent that would wake the body up. For others, it would take a 52-mile ride on their bike. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It just matters that you get up and get out and start moving, because that's a major component of making sure your body can balance things like testosterone, cortisol, and hormone levels. So it's a major player. So there's 7 other factors that I wanted to talk about when we talk about how to really help balance out hormones in your body. And for men, this is a really good thing. Swap out carbs for healthy fats. What? I've been putting carbs in my body for working out and building and mass building. Carbs were the key. We want to switch those out with healthy fats. And you got to think about it. How are hormones built in the body? Well, they're built by breaking down a lot of the healthy fats you get in your body. Some of those are pieces that your body needs to use to build the hormones in your body. And if you have deficiency in the materials, your body can't even build it. So you want to make sure that's taken care of. So in a lot of ways, take the carbs out, replace it with healthy fats in your body, and you'll be amazed at some of the results you have just by helping to balance out the system, because it has what it needs to make it, which is really cool. Taking a look at another thing is, you can utilize some herbs. There's things called adaptogenic herbs that you can use to really help your body to help produce and promote hormone balance in the body. And when we talk about that, you're like, what in the world is that, Dr. John? What is an herb that would be involved in that? Well, you have ashwagandha, you have medicinal mushrooms, rhodiola, and you have holy basil. Those are some great examples of some adaptogenic herbs that you can use to help cellular structure break down and optimize the building of these components so your body can have a balanced state of hormones in regards to testosterone, cortisol, and the other issues. One of the other things we always talk about is addressing emotional imbalance. And this is a pretty interesting thing, because there's a lot of approaches to this, to do these types of things. But typically, one of the things we always like to utilize is types of exercise. And I'm not talking physical exercise, breathing exercises, balancing exercises, acupuncture, chiropractic care. All of these things can really help you with understanding how to balance your body more effectively. It helps the subsystems in your body balance hormones. In regards to men, testosterone, cortisol are a big thing. So these are some things you can integrate when you have emotional stresses and things like that, to step back, take a moment, do some breathing exercises, balancing exercises. Just take a moment to just focus on something and let your body come down a little bit. And that's a really big thing that can help in regards to balancing out hormones. The essential oils are out there that are amazing for this. There are some great oils that you can use. And I always try to include some of the essential oils that you can utilize because I know that there's a lot of individuals, especially a lot of men, that are involved in oils is because their wives are involved and their significant others are involved in oils, and so they start going, hey, what should I give? So if women are watching today, here's some great oils you can utilize on your significant other to help them balance testosterone and cortisol. Clary sage is one really good one. Fennel, another great oil. Lavender. Now, one of the things you got to be really careful with lavender is because you want to make sure that you don't overuse this component because it is an estrogenic type oil as well, so it can produce estrogen in the body as well. It has some studies out there that show that it can do that as well, but it is another good one. Sandalwood, another great one. Thyme, a good oil to use. So those are some good ones. And you know what I'm going to do is, as I look through some of this information, there's some really cool things, and so if you're interested in more information on these essential oils and how they affect hormone balance and what they do in the body, put a comment below and let me know, and I'll make sure I get you some information. Make sure at least there's a way to get back in contact with you in email so that I can really get some information to you, because this is some good stuff, and it's a good way to really make a great impact on your health and vitality without utilizing so many things that are crazy. Very simple techniques, and so you can use that. The other thing is supplements. You know, one of the things we've talked about, I've done some videos on supplements, and a lot of people will go out, they'll go to GNC, they'll go to, well, you can even go now to some of the health food stores, and you can grab supplements that are going to boost testosterone or help balance testosterone and those types of things. Remember, when you're addressing your body supplementally, when you're adding supplements into your body, one of the things we always want to make sure is that we understand that we fulfill a deficiency in the body and not create an oversufficiency, which leads to a toxicity in the body. Now, I did a whole series on that just recently when it comes to supplements. If you haven't caught that, go back on our Facebook page or our YouTube page and catch that video. It's great information, because supplements need to be specific to your body or they can create other issues, and we don't want to have that. So, and there's also ingredients involved with supplements you really want to watch. So there's some great things out there. Actually, even some men have had some great luck with evening primrose oil is one thing. Vitamin D is always another great component when you're dealing with hormone balancing to have as a supplement. Adding bone broth. And then probiotics is another great one to use. I always suggest probiotics for everyone. Our digestive systems are under attack from all the toxicities in our environment, and probiotics can really help us get a little bit of an edge on what's being attacked in there. And it's not an attack, say, for like a sickness or a flu or something like that. It's an attack just because of all the toxicity that you have in your body, from the food you eat, the air you breathe, the water you water, the food, drinks that you use. It's all got toxicities in them. Your body's got to deal with that stuff. Your digestive tract is one of the first points of contact with it. And so anything we can do to help. Probiotics, another big thing. Bone broth, I love bone broth. Bone broth is something that a lot of people just utilize when they have the flu or the cold. And bone broth can be something you can utilize as a regular staple in your diet structure to really bring in collagen and minerals and some of the major foundation stones that your body uses to produce hormones. So definitely utilize bone broth as one other thing. Be aware of medications. Medications can really play a role in lowering testosterone, increasing cortisol, or decreasing cortisol. You've got to understand how your medications are affecting the physiology of your body. If you don't, ask. Get involved with a professional. Bring your medication, sit down with them and say, what is this really doing to my body? Although it might be helping a scenario, is it doing something else that creates a deficiency or a problem that I need to address with another step? So we need to make sure that we understand those types of things. Don't just take a medication blindly. Understand what it's going to do and what we may want to do to supplement and support the body to handle that type of an environment. So we have to make sure we do that. And then finally, lastly, get more sleep. Another big important component when it comes to men's hormones as well as women's hormones is get enough sleep. 6 to 8 hours is what we always recommend because your body heals while you're sleeping. It can be creating a balance and a very healthy state of hormone balances in the body just by getting the right amount of sleep. If you start to fatigue your body, if you get not enough sleep and you're fatigued, then what happens is your body starts to overcome with imbalances in the system, adrenal fatigue, all kinds of things start to come into play, and then cortisol starts taking over, knocks out testosterone, and you got some problems. We don't want to have that, so make sure you're getting enough sleep, and make an effort. Make an effort to make sure that you schedule your time appropriately so you can do that. So that is the suggested solutions that I have. Again, if you have any questions at all, make sure you put them in the bottom. One of the things that we always suggest, if you have time to come out to the office, or even if you're not in this country or in this city or this state, there is an option for you to really understand how your body is functioning. With our life imbalance and body imbalance components, we have a way to really identify what are your key issues, what are the imbalances, what are the true issues your body is having, so we can develop a very specific program that actually utilizes a lot of the things and the solutions that I've talked about today in your program to make sure that you get the optimal and best result. All right, well, the sun is setting behind me, and it's time for everybody to go have a great evening. Enjoy, rest, enjoy your families, and we'll be seeing you soon on the next video. Have a great evening.